your thoughts. You have 3 minutes, and we would love to hear from you.
I have one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Charles mentioned when they first started this program in Fort Worth that the voters approved it for 2 years, and then they approved it for 5 and 10. What are we looking at for here in Forney?
Yeah, so initially there's a term, and we'll have to put that with the, essentially with the creation of a full-time or permanent board. And then one of the reasons where you have performance measures in the plan so we can determine that it's working, that's credible, and then it will continue it. And so future councils will have the ability to, when we come to the end of the term, to review it or extend. And you can extend it for up to 20, 30 years, I believe, at a time. And so these are long-term districts.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Mr. Patrick, does the extension occur by vote of the council, or does it go back to the voters to approve extension?
That's a good question. I think it goes back to the voters, and so that's something to be mindful of, because the initial term, as Charles mentioned, the initial term in Fort Worth is 2 years. You can create it to be bigger or for a long period of time, 2 years. But that you can look at those things moving forward.
Mr. Mayor, we have time after public comment to speak, or including after call for adjournment.
We can have time to speak afterwards.
Take some time afterwards.
Okay, let's do that. At this time, I'd like to open it up for public comments, and then after that, we'll invite council to have some more comments, and then we can adjourn. Is that a good one? Okay. We'll now open it up for public comments. The time right now is 6:47. We invite you to come and speak. Just state your name, address, and you get 3 minutes. Thank you.
We have Nicole Carpenter.
Do we have anybody
We're going to ask Mr. Thatcher to be our timekeeper. Oh, me?
I got it.
You got it? He's got it. Okay. You're good to go.
Hi, my name is Nicole Carpenter. I live at 109 College Avenue. So I've been a citizen of Forney for almost 30 years now in the same area, and I have watched this town grow from being the old Berkshires that was out the city to what it is now. I have raised my family here, and I'm raising grandchildren here. First thing I want to say is, you're absolutely correct. We need these things. And I'm backing you 100% on that. But I think that we're not looking at every avenue in regards to our general fund, what the EDC has, and the lowering of property taxes. I think with the proper information out to the public, I think it would be no problem. I would have no problem with the things that you're proposing to actually pay a little bit more in taxes. I mean, right now we're giving us a break, just like the state is giving us a break on the school taxes, right? Because we were over our budget for a few years. I think that us proposing to grow this community in regards to the police and the staffing, I don't think the community would have that big of a problem with that if it's provided like it was today. But you're in catch-22 if you take from the EDC budget, because they are the ones that help grow not just the big Amazons and the Goodyears and these big companies and give those incentives to. They also grow the mom and pops. That's what this city was built on. And if we take that EDC money away and not help the mom and pops in the community in that way, then our citizens we just now started work here, shop here, eat here, for all of us here. I used to live here and never eat here, never shop here, and didn't work here. And now I have for the past 10 years. I don't go west unless somebody's leaving. But if we take away from the growth that we're seeing, all we're doing is taking our tax dollars away, which then ends up going into eating up the general fund and then eating up your budget. So we have to have a balancing act. I know being in finance, being in mortgage, and taxes going up and going down, and all of those things, it's important to try to keep our taxes as low as possible. But at the same time, everybody moves to Forney because we know that Kaufman County is the fastest growing county in the country.
No, for nearly a decade, excuse me. And while doing this, what I have found, I completely agree with you, Chief White, because we need better protection. I am constantly going into homes of people that have had car break-ins. I had a lady in Devonshire that had 10 drinks thrown out of her car because she left it under her seat. We've had gun loss, we've had theft happen high and low. I don't disagree with that. But I'm also going to agree with what Nicole is saying in the fact that taking money from the EDC is going to hurt our mom and pops. It's going to hurt those companies that I also stand with. It's going to hurt the small businesses. Is the reason why my family moved here. I've been here for about 7 years in Forney. My wife grew up here. She brought me from Memphis, Tennessee, which you want to talk about crime. Let's go talk about Memphis. They're on every 48-hour show. But what they don't have is CPD. So I completely agree with where you're at. And so my proposal is kind of like what Nicole is saying, is let's find a way to educate our citizens. Let's find out where our crime is, because we're asking to fund into the city limits. But a lot of our crime is in Devonshire, Windmill Farms, Travis Ranch, Clemens Ranch. These areas are outside the city limits, and this money is not going to help them. Us funding the CCPD, no offense, is not going to go to Windmill Farms, where I just had a carjacking 2 days ago. Right? They're not going to go to where my kids run the streets. They're not going to go to where, and to what I'm doing, yet my tax dollars are still going to fund this. So I find a way to say, okay, let's keep the EDC going, because they're bringing in the economy that we need to fund those mom and pops, to fund the city and what we're doing, but they don't need to be the catch-all for when the city runs out of money. We go, oh, let's go grab it from this guy. Because that's not what they're there for. They're there to grow our economy. They're there to help us. They're not there, unfortunately, to fund the police. That's not their job. Their job is to fund the economy of our city and to grow our city. So I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, and lastly, we have Meg Adams.
Hello, good evening. My name is Meg Adams. I'm the Executive Director of the Forney Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here pretty much as an advocate, a pro-business advocate. First of all, I want to start by saying I absolutely respect everything that Chief White says. I absolutely think that we need everything that she has said. What I don't like is the way that you're talking about funding it. I don't feel like there has been a lot of transparency in how it will be funded beyond rumors coming through. And since I know that right now the main focus is taking it from the EDC, I'm going to speak on that a little bit. So I just think that our focus in general needs to be bringing in tax revenue to Forney and really making a sustainable fund. We can't just keep going to the EDC whenever there is something that comes up that we need to provide funding for. I think this plan has been in place for like the last year and a half, working on crime prevention district. I don't fully understand why a $3.1 million building would have been purchased, knowing that this is something that we need. It's here, it's now, it's going to happen. I really think that the focus should be on making sure that we are focusing on financial growth that is going to allow the Forney community to thrive in the future. Now and in the future, and not just be trying to put band-aids on top of things and borrowing from different departments. I think that we need to be taking a better look at our general city spending and how we can make these things happen. I loved the proposal that she had up there. I think that it seemed very balanced. And I would just like to see more of those ideas be looked at as opposed to taking more from the EDC and impacting our tax revenue.
Thank you for the comments. We'll now open it up to council. This is the first time that we have ever put forth the plan. So today is the unveiling of numbers. There has never been any talk other than right now. So this is, for the public that are watching, this is the very first time that we have put forth any kind of numbers at all. So we're all looking at this for the first time, and we'll have time to evaluate it, to crunch numbers and ask questions in the coming getting this just as we are. This is transparency. We're getting it now, and we're looking at it now all together. Any comments from council?
I'll go. So I think it's important we got to discuss why we are where we are today. We are where we are today due to years of underfunding of our city and our police department. Due to our tax rate being cut over and over and over again. And that's okay to say out loud. That's kind of where we are and why we are where we are today. I will unapologetically support our police department until the very end. And I will unapologetically fund our police department by any means necessary to make sure that our citizens stay safe. It doesn't mean that this is the answer that we're looking at here. It means that we're trying to find a solution. So let's all be clear, we danced around the issues, and nobody said the quiet part out loud. There are a couple ways to fund this. We talked about this by allocating funds to the EDC. It's the second option, it's raising taxes. We've all danced around and we said that. I've heard applications to be honest, there are other funding methods. There are. And what you're advocating for is raising taxes on people. I just want to be clear that that's what we're talking about here today. The other alternative methods are raising taxes. We have to be very aware when we go down that path and understand that everybody can afford a tax increase. And we have to really look at all options. With this as well, this is not something the council is doing. This is something we're trying to take to voters, and I'm looking for input from everybody. I appreciate your input more you guys now. I don't know what the solution is here. I do know we have a problem. The problem is we need more police officers in the street. The other part that we have not discussed is this crime control district doesn't just fund our police department. It funds multiple other departments within the city. So once these funds are allocated out of our general fund, going into the crime control district, correct me if I'm wrong, John, or anybody else, we can then use those funds to fund our fire department. We can use those funds to fund our public works. We can use those funds to fund our code compliance. Am I correct or wrong? Anybody? Those unallocated funds can.
Well, I would say to the extent that it's not taking from,
If it frees up funds, they can be used for other things.
in a sense that it's freeing up.
So realistically, we're at a place in the city today where we have an issue with multiple departments. Our fire department doesn't have enough people. Our police officers, police department doesn't have enough funds. Our public works doesn't have enough funds. I don't know what the solution is. I really don't know, to be honest with you guys. I understand why you're advocating. I don't disagree with you. We have funds that we have to make sure stay obligated for the next 15, 20 years with the EDC, so we can't take our funds. There's no way we can do that realistically. I would advocate for taking all anyway. I don't know what the solution there is.
want to take money away from current allocations for sales tax and then not have the actual district be approved by the voters, because then you just shot yourself in the foot, right? So you want to try to match those up as much as possible in a single proposition. So if it passes, then the allocation takes place. But having separate propositions, they have to be for or against. You don't get to select one or the other type of scenarios. Thanks.
It's a great question. Any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Do you mind if I know we can't have conversations back and forth. Is it okay if we invite for additional comment for a minute or two, just in case anybody needs for additional comment? Is that okay?
I've got no problems with that. Are we legally?
Anybody else like to?
I would love to be able to. You guys have heard, so yes, please. Thank you.
I'm Jessica Brown, for those of you who don't know me, I'm the president of ABC. I would like to say, I'm a mom, I have a teenage daughter, and she has a tendency to panic and be over dramatic about things. And usually when she does that, I can settle it down in about 20 seconds with a little bit of common sense. And you guys are the parents of the city of Forney. So, you guys, even though people may be panicking and may be freaking out about a tax increase or not getting their property tax reduction, the bottom line is, if you do that, you don't have to take away from the EDC. The EDC has so many obligations. I would like for the EDC budget to be presented to you guys. Because if you take away 25% of our budget, you're tying our hands. And when you tie our hands, you're not going to have your choice come to the city of Forney. You're going to have pawn shops. You're going to have CBD shops. You're going to have Dollar Tree. You're going to have all of the things that you don't want and none of the things that you do want. Because what we do as the EDC is we incentivize the businesses that we want to bring to Forney. That's why we are here. That's what we do. And we don't just go out and give everybody money for whatever. We give grants to the mom and pop shops so that they can revitalize and make things prettier, make our downtown area walkable. We're doing a lot of really good things in downtown right now. The bottom line is, if you can get the EDC budget, and I know that you have printed it, I know Zon has seen it. If you take our budget down by 25%, we're tying our hands. Because we already have future obligations that we have to meet. We've already signed on the dotted line. We can't go back on those deals. So, I think as parents of the community, I think you're just gonna have to say, you know what? I know you want a tax reduction. Everybody wants a property tax reduction, but you can't have it. My daughter wanted to go to see Taylor Swift. She can't go. Tickets are $1,200. It's not happening. I think as the city council, we're just gonna have to say, yes, City of Forney, we would love to give you a property tax reduction. We can't do that because it's not fiscally responsible. We need these police officers. We need this task force. We need this. And it comes down to, it's a pretty simple resolution in my opinion. I don't think that it needs to come from the general fund. I don't think it needs to come from the EDC. It's about a $4 million price tag, right? I mean, you can run the numbers, you can see it. But I think before you make a decision, I think you're gonna have to be the bad guys and say, you know, as much as we'd love to give you another property tax reduction like we've gotten for the last 10 years, it's not feasible this year. It will not be feasible next year. Because I guarantee you, the fire department needs new staff, and they need new staff, and it's all gonna keep trickling down. The EDC can't know what's on the out.
Thank you.
Back up what Jessica said, because the math doesn't matter. I looked at the budget, and the math doesn't matter. You can't, there's like, if you fulfill the obligation, I think it's less than $1 million left over. That's not gonna cut it for you, is it? It's not gonna cut it, and I'm not trying to be hostile or anything. It's just, the math's not there. I'll even try girl math for a minute, it still doesn't work. The point is that you're gonna have to make hard decisions. Each one of you are elected officials. communities that you see eventually boarding up and everybody moves away. We have to think ahead. And we also have to spot, we have a general fund, that's a whole 1%, right? And we have a 0.5% that we're reducing. I don't see why. I get it, don't raise it, I can't afford it. No, no kidding, nobody can afford any of this. But you also don't want to see your kids on drugs or violent crimes or speeding or any of those things. So I bet you I will pay for that. I'll be more than happy. It is your jobs as council members to sell it, to get out to your constituents and have conversations instead of being afraid. Don't be afraid. Have the conversations, because she is. It's y'all's turn.
Thank you for your comments. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, we got one more?
Please, one more.
Okay,
One more. I'm just talking one, sorry.
okay, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, got it. I have two things. One, I think about safety. Again, I'm gonna talk always from the safety point of view because that's where I'm at. I'm not understanding how the council approved a $3.1 million, is that
Ms. Schlichter. Do we have a second? A second from Ms. O'Dowd. Call for a vote, raising your hands.
Aye.
Okay. We are adjourned. The time right now is 7:17.